with Montgomery.
Welcome to Real Talk, where real estate meets real conversations.
I'm Sean Harvey.
I'm Brittany Newhart.
How are you, Brittany?
I gotta tell you a good story, okay? I felt super old and super young at the same time.
But you should feel pretty young. But...
Yeah, I should, okay? But I felt like I was pretty cool, okay? So what happened is we were in this older car and we opened up the glove box and there's cassette tape. And I was like, I know what that is, okay? I know cassette tape. And I was like, we should mess with my parents and call them and be like, what's this old thing? And like joke around. So we called my parents and FaceTime them and we're like, we were sitting here, like, what's this? And we're showing it to them and they're like, oh yeah, like here. And then all of a sudden we're like, wait, how do we actually put this in?
Oh my.
So, because like Randy was trying and it wasn't like clicking in.
Sure.
And my dad's like, oh, flip it over and do this and do that. And I'm like, okay. And finally we get it. Well, then Randy started playing it and it was like kind of scratchy, whatever. It was in the middle of a song. And he's like, how do you skip it? And I'm like, oh my gosh, we're so young. And I'm like,
fast
you can't.
forward.
We just started laughing because he's just like, I can't like find where to skip it. And I was like, that was the funniest thing because I was like, no, it's like fast forward or rewind. And
that's the difference between 10-year age gap.
Yeah. Well, then we went reverse and we went forward and then it did like the whole and he's like, that's so funny. And I'm like, that's how it was. Like it's
my kids so like we have some CDs, but you know what you can't play in your vehicle anymore is a CD.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
You know, so you definitely can't do cassettes or 8-tracks or any of that cool
like
stuff.
Even when we go camping, like Blu-rays and DVDs, like we have DVDs and then like, you can play a DVD on a Blu-ray, but it's still like it's just weird. And now it's like half of them don't have it. And
right.
Like, I can't watch movies.
The world is changing.
TV. Yeah, and I'm like, everything's streamed.
Now, if you buy an album, it's electronically. It's like buying air.
Yes. It's horrible. And even like the gaming systems, I was like, you used to just buy the game and you had it and you put it in and that's just it. You play the game.
Now you just download.
Yeah. And then it's like, you keep having to pay for stuff. It's crazy. I'm like, I don't want to get that. That's nuts. Even like subscriptions sometimes. It's like,
you used to have something tangible that you could hold on to for years.
Even you remember like apps? You used to buy apps and that's just it. Now it's all subscriptions.
Yeah.
I'm like, that sucks.
That's how they get you.
Buy it and get it. So we're going to do a rapid fire.
Ooh.
This or that. Rapid fire.
I'm not that fast.
I know, me neither, because I have to talk about everything. Okay. Rapid fire house features. Open floor plan or defined rooms?
Open.
I like open, but I do get some of the appeal of a like separate, like a dining room that's kind of incorporated and a separate formal one. I kind of do like sometimes, but not closed in, but like somewhat in.
I think that I like the open just for the simple fact that if you're in the kitchen, the dining room, the living room, wherever you are, you can be a part of whatever's going on.
Yes. I like to be in the kitchen and the kids are playing in the living room.
But if your kitchen had a wall there, you wouldn't want to be in your kitchen.
Right. That's true. I'd feel closed up. Well, maybe. If I could close the door, maybe sometimes it would be nice. Okay. Giant walk-in closet or a spa bathroom? This hard one.
I am going to go with the bathroom.
See, I feel like I'd go with the bathroom, but
because the 6 shirts I own don't care if I have a walk-in closet.
Yeah, for you though, but like I feel like we have so much stuff, and I feel, where do you put it then?
Yeah,
I guess you can become a minimalist and have a nice bathroom.
Yeah, but where I'm at now, we're just gonna have both someday.
Yeah. Someday. A big backyard or a finished basement?
Big backyard.
Yeah.
Don't even want a basement.
Nope. We have one level and we love it. I would rather have a giant.
I have backyard. A full basement. You know how often people go down there?
Yeah.
Never.
We had 2,100 square foot before, and now we have 1,900, and we have a bigger feeling house now.
Yeah.
Because we actually utilize the space.
Right.
Yeah. We don't. The basement we just never used. And some people do though. Like when you have teenage kids, yeah, maybe.
No, they still don't go down there.
Yeah. See, there you go.
Bedrooms.
Vaulted ceilings or an extra bedroom?
Vaulted.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yep.
I
don't need guests, but I need space.
Exactly.
That's how it goes.
That's what they make hotels for.
Yeah. This one says gas stove or kitchen island, but I have a real question. This is going to be different. Gas stove or electric stove?
Gas.
See, I'm electric.
So is Amber.
I just don't like it. I burn everything.
Oh, I love it.
It's like cooking on, like, I feel like I can't control it. The thing that my parents are gas, they love it. And every time I go over there, I feel like I'm burning things and it's just, I'm too hot, too cold. And then it's like off. No
We're
heat.
talking about the stove still?
Yeah.
Or your personality? No.
Yeah. Hey, some days. But kitchen island is a must.
I agree.
Yeah. I showed you this one plan one time a while ago with like 2 kitchen islands. I think that's kind of cool.
Oh,
if
yeah,
you do it right. I think it's like it could be too much, but it's kind of cool. So location now, this or that. This one's a little bit different, so I'm going to change it up because this is more big city stuff, like suburb or city walkability. But in town, or would you rather be a little ways out of town, not close neighbors?
Little ways out of town.
I like the little bit of out of town, but also I do love having neighbors. We grew up in the country. I like not having to drive 20 miles.
I have excellent neighbors too, so I really have no complaints. I just like a little bit more space.
If you were to pick a space, a new space, that's what I do. But I'm happy where we're at. New construction or charming old home?
New.
Okay, I like the new. Obviously, contractor husband, we kind of have to do the new, but I do like characteristics of old homes.
I do too.
I like looking at them, but I don't.
I like the feel you get sometime when you go in, but it's like I want the open floor plan. I want the bigger bathrooms.
Yes.
I want.
Well, that's where your defined rooms are. Like that's the kind of houses you have defined rooms. Everything's boxed up. And then it's like you don't have the big closets. You don't usually have the big bathrooms. Like, yeah, people can remodel it, but then that kind of takes away the old house look. But I do like the tall trim. I do like the solid wood stuff. Like, that's awesome.
There's a lot of quality.
Yes, and like the stained glass window. Like, when you build a house, you don't usually just go get stained glass windows.
No.
Like, so that's cool. But new construction all the way. Cul-de-sac or a corner lot?
Cul-de-sac.
I'm on a corner lot.
I am too. Yeah. But that's why I say no, because I have to shovel all that.
That's true. So much more sidewalk to pay for. And then, it's
I mean, there are benefits though. Like if I wanted to add another garage for me, it's super easy.
Yeah.
If I'm in a cul-de-sac, oftentimes you're landlocked. But the cul-de-sac doesn't have traffic where through streets do. I mean, there's pluses and minuses.
And the cul-de-sac issue I have is like when you're at the beginning, you have kind of a normal lot. But then once you get around the circle, you have like a triangular lot. And then in my head, I'm like, okay, if we put a fence, you want to utilize all the space. So now you have this triangular fence. That's my issue. I like squares. I like like I don't think I could do
with a triangle fence.
But I just feel like it'd be weird.
As long as there's enough room to put another garage.
There you go. Water view or downtown view?
Water.
I'd rather like lake view. But also I don't want creatures. Like deer and rabbits are fine, but I don't want like snakes.
Oh.
Stuff. At least we don't have lizards and stuff here.
They're good for the bugs.
No. Okay, here's a side story, because we love a side story. One time I was showing a house, and I was leaving, and in the planter, there was a fake snake that somebody put there. I almost died. It was like 9:00 at night. It was so dark. And we're like, oh, these are nice, cool, big planters. I bet they stay. We're right there. And then boom, there's black snake. Nope. Oh my gosh. I still to this day think about it. I still talk to those people and remember that time?
Remember that fake snake?
It was horrible. And I'm like, who would do that? I was so mad. I'm like, my kids would do that. Because when they pick a prize out of the toy box, they're picking the plastic black cockroach.
Oh, sure.
Why? Why are we picking a black cockroach? It is. And then it's like, every time I'm like, oh, this stupid thing. And I go to pick it up. That little bit of me is like, what if this is real? As I'm going towards it, I'm like, it better not be.
It won't be. No.
Ugh. Okay, next to a park or next to shops? Like, would you be like, yeah. I think like that's a pretty easy one.
Yeah.
Like, why would you want to be downtown?
I don't want to live next to shops. I mean, I guess if it's like
commercial
cool shop, like brewery, coffee shop type thing. But I could walk to get my coffee, walk to get my beer at night.
Yeah.
Not have to cook.
Okay. Money and value. Ready? Would you rather have a cheaper fixer-upper, or a turnkey at full price?
This was I know what I would rather have the turnkey.
But you seem
at the fixer-upper price like everybody else.
Yes.
But I can't bring myself to pay top dollar for a house if I can't ever build equity into it.
Yeah.
So.
I was talking to Mary the other day, and it was so funny because we're just going back and forth on like, oh yeah, I have a buyer who wants this at this price, you know.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, they want a 5-bedroom, 3-bathroom at $150,000.
Right.
We're like, ha ha ha. I'm like, yeah, with a view, you know,
But
at the
I'm
lake.
one of them too.
And then it's like we joke about it, but we're like, that's literally what everybody asks.
Everybody
we're
wants,
like,
yeah.
Cool, sorry.
And so we get it.
Yeah, if we had that, we would love that.
But I can't bring myself to spend money on top dollar on a house if I can't build equity.
Right.
There's got to be some way to build equity.
Yes, that's where, like, sometimes the push and stuff when we talk to people, it's like, okay, here's your future. And sometimes it just glazes over people's heads and they don't care. But I'm like, you will care at some point.
At some point. Either that or they'll be relaxing while we're working all the time.
Yes. Low interest rate or low home price? That's a hard one. Because it depends on how low the home price, like the comparisons.
Right.
Like, would you rather $10,000 off or a 1% lower interest rate?
I'd rather have the interest rate probably because the interest rate's going to save you huge in the end. So.
Yeah. It's surprising how like 0.5% even.
If you actually look at what it costs for interest on a 30-year loan, it's
a lot. Yeah. I like to do that mortgage calculator. Not that it's super accurate, but it is kind of neat to see. I like to plug in the different interest rates and be like, what's the difference? Like people are over here complaining about the interest rates, but it's like, but then they're happy if it drops 0.5%. And I'm like, how much difference is that? And I have to go see it because it's like, you kind of got to see it. It is crazy. How much. Yeah. A bigger house further away or a smaller place close to everything?
Bigger house further away.
Yep. Always. HOA with amenities or no HOA and no rules?
No HOA.
I think it would be cool if you lived in a big city to have something with like the pool, the gym, everything in your area.
Right.
But also as HOA fees.
But it's like, okay, well, how often am I going to go use that pool? How often am I going to go use that gym? And then I'm paying this for the rest of my life. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I watched this one.
If they want to come mow my yard and move the snow in that HOA fee, then I'm game.
Yeah, that's true. Because that's kind of the irritating part. The other, like, I watched this couple, they are in New York and they do like the cost of living and they have a lot of money, but they also have to spend a lot of money to live in New York. And they were looking at apartments and it's like, well, we want to buy this apartment. It's like $6 million. And then it has HOA fees that are $12,000 a month. Oh. And I'm like, how much do you have to make a month to afford that?
A lot.
That's disgusting. I'm like, I just couldn't. I can't imagine though. Like they grew up there, so they're used to that. Yeah. Like they would come here and be like, "Whoa, this is
insanely cheap."
Yeah, I love this. But it's crazy to imagine some people could move from South Dakota to that, and I would never pick that. Yeah. That is nuts.
Not for me.
Yeah. Just for fun, here's one. A house haunted by a friendly ghost or live right next to a cemetery?
Next to a cemetery.
You don't want to
neighbors are always quiet. Normally there's trees and it's very park-like.
Bexley loves
I'm totally okay with that.
Cemeteries. Like she's like, look, it's graves. And I'm like, oh, okay.
That would be mine. Cemetery all the way.
Yeah, go walking.
How about you?
Walking through and reading. I don't know. I think I'd rather have a friendly ghost maybe. I don't know. I guess it wouldn't be bad. Like, is he bugging me every day?
Yeah, exactly.
I gotta know the rental thing here, okay? Is he gonna tell me where there's secret money in the house or something? Yeah. Bathroom with carpet or pink tile everywhere?
Bathroom with carpet.
Ew. Well, you'd rip it out.
I'd rip it out.
That's true. Tile is way harder to rip out because when you start knocking tile
out,
it's
there's
dry.
Tile everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like on the floor, okay, but then when you get the walls and
it always messes up the walls.
Yes.
And then,
yeah, because then when you rip it off the walls,
I can take carpet out much easier.
It's disgusting.
Well, it is.
And just replace the subfloor. Just
I'm not saying I'm going to leave it there.
You're going to take the carpet and replace the subfloor. You're not going to ask questions. You're not going to be like, no, should we? No, you're going to because it's disgusting. I was in a house and it's got the blue carpet floor. Oh.
Yeah.
The bathroom. I'm like, just don't take off your shoes, please.
Yeah.
That's the hard part is when you're in a house and you're like, do you take off your shoes? Do you not? Because you're like, especially in the summertime, you're like, I'm not going barefoot in some of these houses. We got little shoe covers. Yep. It's nice, but there's a few where I'm like, all of a sudden it's like, let's go to the basement. I'm like, I gotta get my shoes.
Yeah,
well, you never know.
And basements are a lot of unfinished basements. And,
yes, dirt floor. I'm like,
Yeah.
You can go. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go. Every room with a different bold color or all beige everything.
All beige everything.
I am all beige because it is so much. We had a pink sparkly wall in our old house. That is so hard.
It is.
To get, like, we painted it like a light blue, and we could still, if you look hard enough, see the pink.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I would go beige. You can add an accent wall.
That's right. Yes.
One accent wall, every room. There you go. And a lot of things match beige. Doesn't mean you have to keep it.
Right.
Okay. Neighbors who are too friendly or neighbors who never talk to you?
Neighbors that never talk to me.
I feel like we have great neighbors. We just got to go talk to them. But also, like, we all work all the time. And then we just come home and that's just it. Like, we talk to them when we see them, but we're also not like, I'm just going to come over and knock on the door and deliver bread.
Right. Well, like, I guess that would be okay. But
like, I'd be fine with that. You can
like, my neighbors are awesome, though. They'll say hi when they're outside. We'll chit-chat for a few minutes. Everybody kind of keeps going with their own business. Yeah. My neighbors are honestly perfect neighbors.
Yeah. I don't want the neighbor who's so nosy that they're like always like, what are you doing? Where'd you get this? Like that kind of neighbors. Yeah. But I do like having friendly neighbors to where if you start talking to them, they're actually going to talk to you.
Yes. That's without a doubt.
I want the happy medium.
Yeah.
Like when we come home, we're half the time just exhausted. So it's like, we're not out for a nosy conversation, but we'll talk to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But that's all I got.
Be a good neighbor.
Yes, it is nice.
Yes.
And don't be like, I don't know, like introduce yourself to your neighbors too.
If my neighbors needed anything, I would help them out. And if I would assume that they would do the same, you know. But
you should always be nice to your neighbors because someday your Jimmy John's order might be delivered.
That's right. Yeah, so they might eat it.
Yep, we've had our neighbors Jimmy John's ordered twice now, and both times it comes to our front door, and we message them like, "Hey, we have your sandwich." So always be nice to your neighbors. So they'll call you with your sandwich. So I was like, I'm not letting it sit there in the August heat.
Well, it keeps it toasted that way.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
All right. Well, have a great week. Thanks for joining us. Like, comment, and subscribe.
And remember, who you work with matters.